Hi, it's Professor Mary coming to you from the Computer Graphic Arts program here at Rowan College. So in this video we're going to talk about the project requirements and expectations for CGA 215 electronic illustration, and this will be talking about Project 3. So when you go to Project 3, this was basically a detailed illustration. Again, it's going to be 11 by 17 or letter format. You can choose to make it tall, portrait, or landscape. And because it's going to be a printed project, we're going to use the CMYK color model. Now this is going to be a very good, intense, detailed drawing, and you can pick anything that you really want to as long as it's detail orientated. I've given you some links down at the bottom, and you want to make sure that you really go ahead and do the research. Most students lose a lot of points in this project because they don't go and make it very detailed. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So here's an example of a fox head. That's a very detailed illustration. Here's a scene almost out of a video game. Here's one, the ultimate hamburger. This is not as detailed as I would like. Here's smart cities. This is, look at all the layering and all the details in this. Here's an alien walking through a town with all the rooftops. Let me go to the next page to show you some more examples. Here's a really excellent example of an illustration of a person. Here's one called Time Travel in Time of Regret. And then here's Rapper Genius. So this is the expectations I have for you for this project. So when we go back, I'm not going to sign up for that. When we go back to the e-learning system and we look at the project details, don't forget I've given you lots of links so you can find different things. Students lose a lot of points on this project assignment because they don't do a detailed illustration, and I'll show you some good and bad examples of this. But again, let me just point out, when you go to Project 3, under where it says possible points, there's the rubric that I'm going to use to grade you. So you might want to familiarize yourself. It's the same rubric we've been using all semester, but just make sure you review it before you submit your project. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some good and bad projects from last semester. So now I'm going to show you some examples of CGA 215, blah, 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 blah. So now I'm going to show you some examples of CGA 215 electronic illustration, and these are for project 3, the detailed illustrations. And here, these are the examples of poor. Now, when I say detailed, I mean detailed. I want to see it should look as detailed as possible. Here, the student, it looks like the student started this project but then didn't complete it. There's no detail on the boots. There's no, it looks like he's got deformed arms. He's only got one wing. I would think he would have 2 wings. I don't even know what these blobs are here. So this student clearly did not finish the project. Also, if you notice over here in the layers panel, right here it says layer 17, layer 6, layer 1. What the heck are those? All your layers need to be named. Here's another example of a poor one. What the heck is this? This is just really thrown together. Again, I want to remind you that this project and all your projects and all your classes should take between 10 and 20 hours of development time. Most of you could have thrown this together in about 45 minutes and then submitted it, and the grade will show that. So here's another example. It's getting a little bit better, but it's not as detailed as I want. And then here's the last example. Student, started an illustration. I don't know what happened to the face. I don't know what happened to the rest of the information. Really poorly done. Also, some layer name issues. So it looks like the students started this and then ran out of time and just submitted whatever they had. which is not acceptable. You would not do this for the client because they're not going to pay you. So let's move on to some of the good examples. So here we are looking at what I would categorize as the okay examples from last semester. So, again, it's getting better. It's much more detailed. I mean, we have detail in the belt and the gloves and stuff, and we have the detail in the water, and we have a reflection from the tower and stuff. But the face, if you're going to do a face, you need to finish the face. These eyes, circle eyes is, what we did in 5th grade. So we need to get a little bit more detail. So this is better. That's why they're in the okay category, but I would, take it up one notch. Again, this is better in terms of the illustration. Something's going on weird with his neck. I don't know about you guys, but my neck doesn't seem to be ever that long. Also looks like he's got his neck turned around backwards. Where's the buttons of his shirt or whatever? But again, notice the eyeballs. So you got to put the details in the eyes. So here's, again, getting better. I have no idea what these stars are. Getting better. Notice that the detail in the eyes are getting there. I would like to see a little bit more detail in the hair. Just kind of like randomly took a brush and brushed on the hair. I'd like to see a little bit more texture and detail in that. Here's a good start, but it's basic. And the trees are basic. The bat thing here is basic. The eyes are basic. If they had just spent a little bit more time, they would have gotten a higher grade. Again, good start, but where's the detail in this? Where's the texture in the fur? What does this, what is this story of this animal? What are these, things? Again, no details. This one's getting better. Has a lot of good detail in it. Is obviously doing some type of anime, cartoonist drawings. So this is getting better. In terms of the okay ones. Again, here's a basic one. With the tree. The other thing is, when you do your projects, the one thing I want to say to I want you to think to yourself, would I want someone to see this other than Professor Mary? Would I want to show a potential employer this drawing? Would I want to show, someone I respect in the industry this drawing? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't turn it in as a project. While these are the okay projects, and they are getting better, the poor projects, those would have scored C- or below. These ones would have been between probably C- and B-. And let's go on and look at the good projects. So here are some examples of some good ones, good projects for CGA 215, the detailed project. So this is an excellent one. Other than scaring the bejeebies out of me when I opened it, but notice the detail in it. You can see the hair, you can see all his, the texture in the fur of his costume. It looks pretty evil. So this is excellent. This one, I categorized it in good, but it's borderline. I mean, this would probably be a B project. I'd like to see a little bit more detailed in the little aliens and in the background. They did some nice, butterfly, and the sky and the foreground's good, and the tree. But I think they lost time or ran out of time with these, little characters. Here's a good one. With the kind of rock'em sock'em robots. Look at the shadowing. Look at the detail in the robots. Look at the detail in the smashed head. I like how they did this. The Fight League text at the top. It looks like we're standing in the ring with the boxers. I like that one. Here's another good one. You'll notice all the detail. Look at all the crazy detail in the background. And the detail in the actual wizard. The gradations and it looks like the flame is really lit. This is an excellent example. This one's another good example. with the cliff kind of holding up the castle, their castle on the precipice of the cliff. I would have liked to see a little bit more detail on the cliff, but the castle's very detailed. It's drawn in perspective, which is nice. The clouds are a little hokey, but really don't fit the scene. But maybe you could have worked on that a little bit better. And I like the birds circling around the tower. Here's another good one with regard to the detail. We got the plane taking off, we've got the hangars, we've got the sky, we've got the foreground. It really looks like we're standing on the runway, and we could hear the roar of the jet taking off. Only kind of comment I said is I think there should be some, the exhaust or flames coming out of the jet, because that's usually what you would see. Here's another one that's an okay one. This one takes it up a little bit more because it's got the detail of the tree, and it's drawn in perspective correctly. It's got the presence. So this is a B+ project. This one, I zoom back out. This one is just crazy. So this is just incredible. This was done by one of our best illustrators last semester. It feels like you're sitting here overlooking the lake and the sunrise or sunset, and you want to be this boy and his dog, or the girl and his dog, whoever this is. It's just excellent. This is an A++ project. This is an okay project. This is a good project. It's got some detail. The mouse is very gradated. It looks like you're in a video game, one of those map video games, and you're leading through the scene. So this is an okay one. I would have given this a B+. Close that. This one's getting. This is also good. We've got some really good detail in the flowers and the trees and the sky and the layers. From the foreground to the mid to the background, and then we've got the cute little characters here in the foreground. This one I thought was really, really creative. It's the little boy pretending to be Superman. I'm going to zoom in on this, and the lights on him with the fan is blowing the cape, and in the background it's the lights reflecting, but he's actually Superman. And then over here we've got the detail of what's in his room, and it's drawn properly in perspective. So this was another A++ project. Again, we had a bunch of students who had gone to the air show, so we got a couple jets. Again, this is really good. I would like to see a little bit more detail in this, whatever the foreground or the background is here. It kind of just looked like they brushed a bunch of things, maybe used a gradient instead. But the jet is very detailed, very nice illustration. And then this one, again, this was a crazy one because this was so detailed. If you look at the characters, it looks like the hands really coming off the screen, and the other heroes here, and then the type is all correct if it was if it really was a comic book. So this was another good one that I really liked from last semester. Now those are the examples of the good projects. Last year we had more good projects than we had bad projects. I think we had maybe 5 really poor projects, and the majority of the projects were really, really well done. Again, if you're spending 20 hours on their illustration, that's the level of detail I'm looking for. So if you have any questions about the project, please either see me before or after class, come visit me during office hours, email me, or text me. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or talk to me after class or before class, or come to my office hours. And I'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you might have.